I just wanted to say that I actually appreciate the thoughtfulness and the time that you guys are taking to try and figure out what should go on in up there. And you run a business, it's costing you money to do this, but I live in the neighborhood, the immediate neighborhood, and I appreciate it because I think that maybe we'll come up with a better solution for the use of the space as opposed to with some of the development we've seen here in Quincy is so fast, it goes up so fast, and maybe it's not as thoughtful as it ought to be. So I appreciate that. And I think you have a great book of business. I've seen the presentations that you put on and the kinds of developments that you've put in place. And I think that speaks well of your company, and it certainly gives me hope for what's going to happen out there. The other comment I have though is that because I am, of course, in the immediate neighborhood, that whatever use you come up with, that it be consistent with the fact that it's in a neighborhood, or neighborhoods with families and people and children, and you just keep all of that in mind. And I know we've talked about that before, and I know you're mindful of that, and I appreciate it. The other thing, I guess I wanted more clarification on what you're going to do in terms of the city council. Is it you plan between September 1st and December to be presenting a plan to the city council?
We're going in for the LDA for downtown this fall.
Not for the property up here at the hospital. Yeah.
The focus is to get certainty, as Chris said, around downtown so we can go double barrel to the medical community and say, here's the options. With certainty, not hypothetical, this is what we can do, both places, and further those conversations.
I can tell you they're not on the first, our first meeting is September 5th, they're not going to be on that agenda, but perhaps maybe towards the end of September agenda, maybe beginning of October was what, Chet and I had discussed, trying to come in and give everybody a label.
So just let us
It's
know
aspirational.
when that happens. and
Aspirational,
give us time. Let us know when it happens and give us time to plan to be there, to both letting us know the day before. I mean, you guys are great in terms of communications. I suspect you probably will.
Just to reiterate about council meetings, please come, everybody is welcome, but there's no opportunity for public comment at the
It's
council
great
meeting.
to go though.
No, I'm not going to be, I know, I love it, I'm there, I say, please come. But there is no, I don't want to give people the impression that they can come and speak. We don't have an open forum meeting, so just so folks are aware, when you come, please do come and listen to the plans. They are televised on QATV as well, so if you can't make it, or if you have neighbors who will be able to do it, and so they replay on QATV all week, or for the 2 weeks
Important to go
in between.
and hear.
Yeah, well, yep.
Yeah, I'm just looking for some clarification. My understanding is that the downtown property, you guys don't actually own that, right? You've been designated as the lead developer, but
We own certain pieces we own a couple properties downtown. The Ross parking parcel is the former parking lot. That's what we're going to the city council for the land disposition agreement process this fall.
so your plan down there will involve a mix of developments on property that you own and property that you don't own, is that?
So it'd be part of the process is for us right now. There were certain acquisitions that had to happen in order for any development to happen down there. So in order to facilitate that, we went ahead and acquired those.
You have?
Yep. In addition, what we're really working hard on is what does that land disposition agreement look like, and what are the costs to construct down there? What is the parking? How does 1 million square feet fit down there? How does it all fit into the? And so we've had master planners, engineers looking at that. So to have all the answers, and then, or to have at least a framework of kind of what can go down there, and what would be submitted to the city council, if we can, kind of pull that together and have the answers and feel comfortable that we're in a position where we can do that, to present it to the city council as a package, and then that document, if it were approved, would kind of set forth the rules of the road in terms of how we can develop, and there'd be certain parameters around that in terms of what we can and can't do. Because the goal for FoxRock and the mayor's stated goal was, that'd be primarily commercial development with medical use.
Right. So is it fair to ask what are the properties that you've acquired down in that area?
Sure, I was in the ledger last week, 1495 Hancock, which isn't necessarily, you know, a development site, but it is the entryway into the back half of that parcel there. And then the building in the back half there that Revel's in, that building right there would be part of the development site. So
Part of the development site, but have you acquired that property?
we have that property, we have a firm contract to acquire that, and we're just working out the logistics of closing. There's some infrastructure work that the DOT is going to be doing there that just complicates the timing of closing, but.
Thank you.
Yep.
Over here.
Is there a deed restriction on the hospital property up here on the hill?
There's a right of reverter, maybe that's what you're, so when we acquired it, we entered into an amended, it's not a technical deed restriction, but it's an agreement with the city, which sets forth kind of parameters under which we either have to pay a certain amount of money or develop a certain percentage of medical space.
So when the Saxon family donated it, there was no deed restriction that it be a hospital?
No. Well, I mean, I'd say there was no, when we acquired it, there was no deed restriction.
In the back here.
Hi, my name's Frank Hogan. I'm very, very fond of Quincy. I really enjoy living here. But my health is the most priority to me, and I think it's uncivilized, city this side, not having a medical center. Now I have a decision to make, whether to stay here or move to Florida, to a city that does have full medical facilities. I'm closer to 80 than I am 70. Now you're in touch with the city, the council, the mayor, you're also with the developers. You have a lot more knowledge than I have. What advice would you give me? Would I stay here and take my chances with no money? Should I go to Florida? It's a matter of trust. I want to trust you people. So I'm asking you, either of you can answer that question. And this is my health, which you love. And like this first chap, Quincy City Hospital saved my life about 10 years ago. Yeah, I was within minutes of not being here. So I'm fond of it, and I'm fond of the city, fond of the councillors as well, believe it or not. But my health is my priority. What should I do, stay or go? As one human being to another, and kind of trust or a feel for your company and what's going on. 'Cause I want to stay alive.
Yeah. Nothing against Florida. Florida's great, great weather. Look, I have 3 daughters. You know, I have parents who had health issues. I would say Boston, this area in general, has the best medical care in the world. And I understand you want me to answer Quincy specifically, but I think there is such a density of use here, and the reason we got into this, and the reason we're standing here, and the reason we are in Quincy, is to say, how do we extend that level of care down here, and how do we provide a release valve for the high rents and the running out of space in Boston? And I can tell you, you know, we are doing all we can, and that's why we're working to try to get this done by the end of the year, to say, hey, Quincy's over here, this is what the rents are, it's on the red line, there's people here that need the care.
I'm interested in my health. What do you think? Should I stay or go?
Stay.
So you're going to have a hospital here.
Oh, come on, this is like, I feel like I'm back in the hospital, this is like.
No, seriously, I wouldn't have made it to the college.
Yeah.
But, and I do love my health. I just, you know more than me. You're part of it. And just ask, should I stay? You stay for what reason? Medically.
It's a great community, and I think.
I know all that.
Yeah.
I've been here a long time.
Okay.
Medically.
Medically.
In the next 10 years, will I be able to, I need an emergency, get to a hospital here?
I can tell you right now that we have talked to hospitals. I cannot tell you whether they're coming down there. I'm sorry, sir.
Go.
I appreciate it.
No, that's what you're telling me. Yeah, I know. And it's a good possibility Whitwell Street won't happen. You know, I know you're a commercial company and in profit and all like that, but some of us in Quincy want to stay alive and we want to have a medical center. And it's an absolute priority to us. We don't like living in a third world city. It really is, you know. My wife worked in the Mass General for a cardiosurgeon and a brain surgeon, but myself, I would never have made it to the county So I'm not interested in how good they are. You know, I'm interested in staying alive and have decent health and having a hospital here in Quincy. But you say it's not going to happen. Does not like it in the next 10 years. Sad, real sad. Yeah. I feel sad about it.
I mean, we are trying our hardest to provide that space and to market it.
I know you are.
As,
You know, in your conscience, that's my opposite. Coming from here, it's one human being to the other.
Anyone else? Jeff?
I have a three-part question. In the late 80s, they built a lot of new patient rooms. What is the percentage of that of the hospital? How many patient rooms are new in the 80s, late 80s?
in the late 80s.
Ballpark a quarter, I think it was late 70s, the A building, the Y-shaped wing on the southwest corner of the parcel.
It was 89.
Okay, then
And the operating room, correct me if I'm wrong, but you say you wouldn't want to have a toenail operator. And I believe they put a lot of money in there, right around 2000 into the operating room. I will find that out to be exact, but I can't see it being in that bad a condition if they put that much money in there around 2000.
I'd be happy to walk you through it.
Okay.
I'm just reporting what I heard from people far more qualified than me to talk about operating.
And my other question is, if someone came, if you really want to do the right thing for Quincy, if someone came to you guys tomorrow with the money that you paid for it and was going to make it into a full-service hospital, would you sell it for the money that you paid for it?
Not yet, because we're committed to putting the best medical facility we can in Quincy. So we haven't run that out yet, so I'm not going to say today we would, because I'm convinced that what we're working on will come to fruition. It will replace what's up there now, which is a stopgap measure to address issues like yours, sir, when you have to have something in that critical 30 minutes before you can make it to Boston or South Shore. But no, today I wouldn't, because I'm convinced that we're going to do something
Something better at that facility or downtown?
I don't know. That's why we're looking for certainty about downtown, so we can know what the offer is, and in response to the feedback we've gotten to date from the medical community.
But if someone came in today and offered the exact money that you paid for it to turn it and open it as a hospital, you wouldn't allow that today?
To allow that today? I mean,
You know, if someone came in, if you really want to do the right thing for the community, and someone came to you today and said, we'll give you exactly what you paid for it, you don't make a penny, but we'll give you exactly what you paid for it, we'll turn it into a hospital, would you accept that?
If there's somebody that wants to open a hospital, like I said, we're downtown, we would love to talk to them. We, to Chet's point, we got into this with both parcels to say, how can we provide that level of care, and how can we provide opportunities that people actually take. This hospital was on the market for quite some time, and a lot of hospitals looked at it and nobody bought it. We stepped in to try to provide that. It's going to take some creative thinking, and it's not as simple as taking an operating room that was open in 2000 and to be, you know, we don't know the history there, what they're doing, but right now, the hospital providers that you're talking about, and the people they're not coming to buy the hospital. They're not looking to lease the hospital. We're trying to provide a holistic solution, and it's more than just what's there now. And if they wanted to buy it, they could have bought it.
Have you talked to anyone like making it into a teaching hospital?
I mean,
Any of the schools?
there has not been interest in that to date.
Thank
I'd
you.
like to, I'd like to take you guys off the hook right now, to be perfectly honest, because you guys aren't in the health care business. You people are business people. You've got these meetings should have been taking place before our town fathers, the mayor, the council, before this place was sold or given to you guys. The same thing with the Ross parking garage, where we have no parking anymore, okay? All these business deals that are going on in the city of Quincy right now. These meetings, before this hospital was given away, which it was given away, okay? The mayor and all his council people, all the people that are committing to our taxes going up here, okay, should have been down here talking to the people in Quincy about getting rid of the hospital before he just, you know, arbitrarily says, okay, we're gonna give it away. And that's what he did. Now you people, as far as I'm concerned, I lived here all my life. As far as I'm concerned, You people are not going to build a hospital. These people here will never see a hospital in Quincy, as long as you guys own it, because if the first people that come in that want to do something, you guys are developers, just like all the other developers in the city of Quincy. You're out to make a buck. That's your business. Good luck to you. I'm not criticizing that, okay? And you guys are just a couple of spokespeople for the big boys. But all I'm saying is that call a spade a spade. There'll never be another hospital. You guys are not in that type of business. And like this man over here said, if someone can give you the same amount of dough that you guys stole this place. Never mind, they'll give you the same amount of dough. Why would you? I wouldn't if I was you, because the land that this hospital is on is worth so much money. You've got in the paper over here, the Ross parking garage, 1 million square foot of commercial space. What are you gonna put, some more hamburger joints up there, like we got in the rest of the downtown Quincy? Come on, you guys, it's never gonna happen. Try to come out and be honest with the people that are here, all right? We're looking for a hospital. We're looking for a facility to take care of people. It's not, I was born in that hospital, all right? It's not gonna happen. Be honest. What, a little emergency room? That's not what the people are looking for. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, when you talk about the medical community, right, like who you're talking to, I mean, you probably can't get out specifics, but is it like hospitals in the area, or, I don't know.
To defer to Chris, who's in a lot of those meetings, and who knows what we can and can't disclose, to your point.
Yeah.
But we've talked with a number of leading groups in the overall Boston community, which is arguably the best in the country.
Like Boston area.
So if nobody wants the Whitwell place, and Quincy still needs a hospital, it doesn't seem like people are beating down your door to get to your places and your properties to build one. What is it that they want, and what does Quincy lack? What does the medical world want out of a hospital these days?
Profit.
Well, yeah, but what are the obstacles to making that happen in Quincy? If there was a location here in a situation that made that profitable and viable, there'd be 10 companies lined up to open a hospital here. It doesn't sound like that's happening. So what is it that is not on offer that these companies want?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've shown the hospital site to many different organizations. They've said no to that, or that hasn't been an attractive option. I think that why we're focused on Ross and trying to provide an alternative there is to say what is feasible and then go market. We don't own that property yet, so it's irresponsible for us to go show that to medical organizations. So I think your question is really one that we're trying to solve in 2018, and frankly why we wanted to package both of these together. This was not, you know, the fact that that hospital was largely unusable and that other medical organizations had a year to look at it and try to find something with it and buy it for the same price or less than what we bought it for. Despite that, we still went out and had those conversations. So I think our focus is, great, let's provide the size buildings that we can have down here. What does that look like? What does the parking look like? And then, you know, really have those conversations throughout 2018. And we've already introduced them to Quincy, right? They've come down here, they've visited our office, we've gone through the hospital, we've demonstrated a commitment to work with them by showing them that, showing some options. So I think it's a question we really want to, you know, ask the medical community more broadly. And I think if we can get this through, I would love to have that conversation, you know, throughout the rest of next year. And,
So it sounds like it's pretty much a no on Whitwell, but maybe on Ross.
I hope so. Yeah.
So it's, the more you talk, the more it sounds like if there's gonna be any medical facility, it's gonna be down on the Ross property. So it seems like you should be able to tell us a little bit about what you envision for the Whitwell property in terms of, you know, the next 5 years or so, what's gonna be happening up there after, you know, the emergency room closes.
Yeah, I think we're talking about a couple different medical uses. So the medical use that we had talked about at the first meeting, where we put the definition of medical use up, we can, send that around or post on the website if anyone wants to see it. That includes something like assisted living. That's a use that we are actively trying to put up on Whitwell. There's various different, and that's why we went and hired architects and engineers and said, if it's not a hospital, which doesn't seem that's what the demand's not there, what can we do up here that fits into the fabric of this neighborhood?
So there may still be healthcare related activity at the Whitwell property?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Can I ask a couple questions, actually? Have you considered the fact that we also have that Hancock lot that's going to be going in 730 parking spots? Is that contingent upon how to keep parking in the downtown? We have a two-tier system, and what I continuously hear is senior housing. I continuously hear that everywhere I go, that people ask about needs. Senior housing comes up all the time. Are you considering a two-tiered phase of Ross is one kind of connection and then Whitwell's the other? Because I need to know, and I haven't talked to you guys offline, but the constituents are asking me about these questions. I've been at the other two meetings. Where are we on for timelining? How are you considering the fact that parking downtown needs to be there and the Ross is providing it right now, the Ross lot that you took down?
Right.
Where are we on these moving parts?
Yeah, I think.
A lot of constituents are asking me at their doors about these questions.
Yep. I think it's a great point, and one of the reasons why we've tried to accelerate what's going on at the hospital, when we've said, like I said, we've gotten some quick answers on some of these medical organizations not wanting to have a big presence at the hospital. Okay, so we've recalibrated and said, I'm sure everyone in this room, the uncertainty is part of the challenge there, what's going up there, what's going on. So this year, and hopefully very soon, we'll come back with some definitive plans on what could go up there, and I hope senior housing is a big piece of that. And that's one of the things that we're focusing on. Where is it in the kind of continuum of care? We've done a little bit of a feasibility study on, what is needed in the city, and we've talked to some of those operators. And then I think the specific question on Ross and downtown is, how does the short-term parking concern relate to the overall development? I know that's something the city's keenly focused on, and will be part of the land disposition agreement to provide that
So we're still at the 1/3 of the properties, between the both of them have to be medical use, are we still there on that? With 1/3 of the medical, it has to be deemed a medical.
Yeah, it hasn't changed in terms of the 150,000 square feet requirement. Yep.
Excuse me, I have a question, please. I'm just sitting here listening to all of this. Do you drive through Quincy? Do you go through a lot of Quincy?
Yep.
So we're Quincy residents, and I don't go much on, we're always driving around the city, taking our kids somewhere. There is so much difficulty getting around the city now, that you gotta be kidding me. You wanna build that in the parking way and have ambulances going in and out of, off of all that area, by the Bergen Parkway, and all of those back roads? We already have a traffic problem. I don't know if you realize that, and I don't know if anybody else here does, but I do, because I travel Quincy a lot. Everything now is housing, big buildings, condominiums, blah, blah, blah. Well, where are the cars gonna go to park? In the Ross parking way for a hospital? There's not a lot of, to me personally, but that's me, what do I know? I'm just a resident who pays an enormous amount of taxes to Quincy, and would probably lose my house the way it keeps going. But you have to understand, we're simple people in Quincy. Although it's a city, we're very connected to our city. We're very connected to people. We have probably the most senior housing. I should have Googled that too. We have some of the best and biggest senior housing. We have a lot of that. We need things for the younger people coming up that I talked to you earlier about. Helping these people who have no place to go when they're ill and when they're sick and when they're on drugs and when they're mental health. Hello, maybe I'm on another planet, but we're talking about building another hospital in Parking Way or somewhere in Quincy when it's a glut to get around this city now. There's building everywhere. There's not a lot of accessibility like it used to be. It's built up like Boston. So if that's the case, then give us a hospital, a viable hospital. Because we have more people and residents in Quincy now than in a lot of places. It's a city you want to be in because we're close to the Boston, we're close to the, but when you're in a Quincy resident, you've had people who've been sick, you know what the logistics is, you know what the dynamics are of this city and why it's so important for elderly. We have a lot of elderly housing. We're probably the city that has the best or biggest elderly housing. We take care of our elderly, which is wonderful. But we need to start talking about the other generation coming up and the young people who are leaving Quincy, because of what we don't have. And I know that for a fact, because I know people are moving out of here because it's becoming Boston, and yet we can't even, I'm just saying, the parking way, you can't even go by that area down there that is, it's hours to get around down there sometimes because of the logistics now. There's so much traffic and infrastructure on the roads that you can't even get around Quincy like you used to. And that's just my point. So put something in the parking way where there's no parking now.
It's my understanding that you guys also developed the South Shore Medical Center in Norwell, so you're familiar with the PCMH format. How seriously are you considering that for the hospital building?
Yeah, I mean, that's another format. We've, had those conversations and talked to those users. I don't think, that was a new construction, right? South Shore Medical Center. It made sense as
Originally it wasn't though.
Well, it's new construction now,
Yeah.
as where we are, and so I think the level of conversation that we've had is and Jason, who's our colleague over here, they can speak to this as well. There's a preference for new construction for that here.
But you know you're never going to open it as an acute care hospital again.
I mean, if there's somebody that wants to operate that, we'd love to have the conversation. That hasn't been the case to date.
So are you going to pursue it, looking at it as an alternative facility that way, whether you use the building or build a new building?
Yeah, I think that's part of the analysis that we're doing now in terms of what we can use the building.
But it doesn't seem like there's been a lot of progression on the hospital since several months ago, where you are doing a lot of progression on the parking lot area.
No, I don't think that's the case. I mean, we're pursuing these on a parallel track. I mean, some of these studies take an inordinate amount of time. Our job in a lot of this is to help wrangle the consultants along and tell them this is a priority and this is what we have to do. And we've been here all summer and we're starting to get some of those reports in and starting to understand that and put it together. And so I think now that we're getting past Labor Day here, we hope the frequency of these meetings can pick up a bit and we can share those as they come in real time and once we get a little bit more clarity there. But I think there is so much to digest there and so much to figure out and so much to try to figure out how they come together, that we're just trying to really get all the facts and then try to provide some clarity on what can and can't be done up there.
Quick question. At the debate the other night, the councils were talking about FoxRock is going to make 1 million square feet of commercial on the Ross parking garage. Is that the LDA that you're talking about right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, it's kind of, saying something beforehand. And my question is, when you do present that LDA, are you going to pay full taxes or are you going to be asking for tax breaks on that property in the LDA?
We haven't gotten to that level of conversation with the city yet. I mean, we are prepared to go before the city council and have that conversation.
And the other part is, contributing to the Affordable Trust Fund, because a couple of the developments that are in there, LBC and the O'Connell project, they're exempt from contributing because of, ordinances that they've done at the city council as a good, partner to the, people that pay taxes in the city. You should pay full taxes. You got the land at a very cheap price. And the other thing I'm very concerned about is you're one of the people that are bidding on the T project too, am I correct?
We've submitted an RFI.
So that's 3 different projects that you're working on at the same time, I see how things work up at the city. I'm willing to bet you're gonna win that contract, okay? And so that means now that's gonna be 3 projects that you're gonna have. Councilor DeBona, they talk about paying taxes. The way that we have the shift, okay, the shift has been put, the burden is on the residential taxpayers. We need commercial growth in the city, but we cannot have commercial growth and give you a tax increment financing thing where you don't have to pay property taxes for 10 years or all these things. I mean, so you have to do well for the people. And, it seems like, we're in a really bad position right now, and, I really don't understand. It sounds like you guys got a full plate, and you should really concentrate on one project at a time, and, please pay full taxes. Do not come up to the city council and say, hey, we need a tax break, because Deco just sold that building for twice as much as they developed it. Property is very valuable in the city of Quincy, and you can make a lot of money by paying your taxes. Like everyone who's a resident in the city, they pay their taxes. They don't come up and say, hey, I want a tax break because I'm buying this house in Squantum. No, they pay their full taxes. So just please do the right thing. Don't ask for a tax break. If you ask for a tax break, I'm going to be very upset.
Is it possible to see inside the Whitwell property, just to see the insides of it, ever do tours or anything?
Yeah, absolutely. We should organize that. Let me talk with our director of operations about how to do that safely.
That would be cool.
So thank you all very much for coming out. Respect the neighborhood.
Thanks, everybody. Did everybody sign, just because we want to give as much information from this evening and to get comments and to get the information to folks who weren't able to come this evening. So I know we're going to be doing more meetings, more discussion, but there's nothing before the council or before any city board or commission, anything that goes that's a change, anything downtown, anything that happens up here, has to come to the council, has to go through either site plan review or zoning board approval. So there'll be ample opportunity to comment when actual plan design phase and permits are being requested, things are being requested. And so there'll be ample opportunity for community input at those meetings as well. So, oh, okay. So I want to thank you all for your attention this evening. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it, and enjoy your holiday weekend as much as you can.
Thanks for